Please welcome Dr. Dieter Zetsche, Chairman of the Board of Management of Daimler AG and Head of Mercedes-Benz Cars.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to Mercedes-Benz on the eve of Detroit Auto Show 2015. 16 is the right year. A few days ago, it was obvious again, there are more and more cars at the CES in Vegas. But we thought what happens in Vegas does not have to stay in Vegas. That's why we brought the largest screen to Motown this year. This screen is a gamer's dream come true. And this classic video game, Pac-Man, fits well in this case, because at Mercedes we were really hungry for market share in 2015. The same holds true for our friends at Smart. They sold 33% more cars last year. So even though I can imagine that Santa left coal in the stockings of some German car executives, he left a lot of candy for our team. When we met here last year, I told you that in 2014 we went really fast on the racetrack and grew equally fast in the market. I can best summarize our 2015 performance by saying, oops, we did it again. We scored the double-double in Formula One. We drove at full throttle with our product offensive, introducing 8 new cars in 2015. We sold over 13% more cars worldwide than the year before. Our sales performance was equally appealing in the Americas, with new sales benchmarks in Canada, in Mexico, and of course, here in the US. I want to thank Steve Cannon for this great performance. At the same time, let me welcome Dietmar Exler, who should be somewhere, there he is, on board as the new CEO of MBUSA. I believe Dietmar is just the right person to continue and extend our success here in the NAFTA region. This is very important because we have big plans for the future. These plans also go beyond passenger cars. For instance, we are putting $500 million into our Detroit truck plant to support the launch of our new transmission and the future production of medium-duty engines. That also means more than 300 additional jobs in this neighborhood. And of course, we also have big plans for Mercedes-Benz cars. 9 new or refreshed Mercedes cars will hit American roads this year, ranging from the refreshed CLS sedan up to our new SL Roadster and the GLS, the S-Class of SUVs. And most importantly, there will be the new E-Class. With all these cars, we are sure to make even more of our customers' dreams come true. That's why 2016 will be our year of dream cars. With every Mercedes, our aspiration is to create products that are one class ahead of the competition. Our target is to provide more design, more safety, and more comfort. Take the GLC as an example. It is the first SUV in its segment to offer a multi-chamber air suspension system, which our engineers call air body control. Customers will simply experience an unparalleled comfort. And we will add another proof point tonight. The all-new E-Class will be one class ahead in terms of intelligence. Before we take a look at the new E-Class, let's talk about what intelligence actually means. Remember sitting in a school classroom back in the day and having a look around? Among your successful classmates, there always seemed to be 2 camps. The serious kids, who sat in the front rows, really studied hard and earned good grades by memorizing every detail. And the other group, those girls and boys who didn't study as much but genuinely knew how to connect the dots. They sat in the back and probably had a bit more fun along the way. So there are different concepts. Study hard is one, think smart is another. I always considered the latter strategy as more intelligent. However, a safe indicator of intelligence is to know what you don't know. That's why I'm going to leave the stage now to Dr. Andrew McAfee from MIT. He's going to tell us more about fascinating new dimensions of intelligence. Let's welcome Dr. McAfee. Andy, it's great to have you on stage. And since high school is long gone, now I can take the front seat. Okay?
I tried to sit in the back seat, but I wasn't fooling anybody when I was in high school. They knew that I was a front seat kid at heart. Dieter, thank you for inviting me here today, and thank you for having us all here. We're here to talk not just about the new E-Class, I think, but also to talk about this concept of intelligence. And we all realize it's a fundamentally important concept. It's also a really slippery one. Marvin Minsky is one of my intellectual heroes. He was a legend in computer science at MIT, and he made a really good observation a while back. He said intelligence is one of these suitcase words. In other words, it's a container, and we pack into it a lot of different things, a lot of different meanings, a lot of different concepts. And what I'm noticing is how many different concepts are being packed into this notion of intelligence these days. Some people are taking an inherently human view of intelligence, and in this era of incredibly smart and incredibly powerful machines, what they're essentially saying is, no. Intelligence is what we do. Intelligence is what we human beings are better at. The problem with this view, with this definition of intelligence, is that the machines keep surprising us, and they keep on encroaching into territory that used to belong to us alone. We should keep in mind that the word in computer was actually originally a job description for a human being. It was somebody who sat around and basically did arithmetic all day. Nobody does that anymore. That work has gone 100% digital. For hundreds of years, we thought the highest expression of intelligence was being able to play the game of chess at an extremely high level. We don't believe that anymore. For about 20 years now, the world's best chess player has been a computer. And in fact, the mismatch between human intelligence and machine intelligence is so bad in this area that they asked a human grandmaster a little while back how he would prepare for a match against a computer. And he said, "I'd bring a hammer." So this notion of intelligence as this inherently human quality, this isn't working very well anymore. Some folk are taking exactly the opposite view, and they're looking at intelligence explicitly from the viewpoint of machines, and in particular, how much better the machines are getting. There's a word that we're hearing more often these days called superintelligence. And as it's phrased here by this community, it's a little bit of a scary concept. And the concept is what happens when the machines are essentially better at everything than us? What happens when they can do everything that our minds, our brains, our bodies can do? What's the outcome there? And most of the folk who have looked at this question or thought about it put out some pretty unhappy outcomes. And these include some really phenomenally intelligent people. Folk like Bill Gates and Elon Musk and Stephen Hawking are all worried about this concept of superintelligence. Elon Musk, in fact, says that we are in danger of summoning the demon with these incredibly powerful computers that we're creating. What they have in mind is what we're familiar with from lots of different science fiction movies. It's this notion that the machines are suddenly going to become self-aware, incredibly intelligent and powerful. They're going to start spontaneously communicating with each other. And at some point, they're going to look over at us and say, what do we need them for? And they're going to essentially declare war on humanity. I'm going to worry about this the day my computer spontaneously decides to communicate with my printer. There's a deeper issue here. This is theoretically possible, but that's not the right way to think about it. We are so far away from anything like superintelligence that I think this fear is incredibly misplaced. It's actually harming us because it's detracting attention from some fundamentally important things. I've had the good opportunity to talk to most of the pioneers in artificial intelligence these days, the people who are actually pushing the envelope on these things. And what they say is this nightmare superintelligence scenario, this is so far away from anything that they're currently working on. Over and over again, I hear there's nothing on our current trajectory of research or investigation that's going to get us to that point. My favorite way to think about this comes from a guy named Andrew Ng, who's absolutely one of the rock stars of the artificial intelligence community today. And he said worrying about these outcomes is like worrying about overpopulation on Mars. So I'm not that bothered about that. So there are these couple different ideas of what intelligence is, neither of them incredibly helpful. I went back to the dictionary and I found a definition that I found super helpful. Because they're talking about intelligence here not inherently in human terms and not explicitly in machine terms. They're saying intelligence is the ability to learn, to understand something new, and to apply it, to put it to work on a problem, to help improve a situation. When I think about intelligence this way, it gives me a lot of insight. I think this is the right way to think about the topic. It also leaves me profoundly optimistic, because what we're doing now, finally, what we're doing now is building machines that can learn, that can actually dive in and master some new topics. We've been trying to do this for decades. As soon as we had computers, some of the smartest people in the world tried to get them to be good at these tasks. They're finally realizing that promise. And it turns out that once you have enough computing power, and you need a lot, once you have oceans and oceans of data, and once you have really clever people tuning the systems, building the algorithms, you can actually start to do learning. You can start to improve at tasks, some of which are really difficult, some of which used to belong to human beings alone, and a lot of which are extraordinarily valuable. And what I think is going on these days is not that we're building superintelligence and not that we're marginalizing humanity. We finally have machines. We finally have tools that I think of as somewhere between a really, really capable assistant and an extremely valuable colleague to help with whatever it is that we want to get done, whatever situation we want to improve, whatever we want to get more intelligent about. We now have unparalleled tools to help us with that. I want to wind up by giving a couple examples of how important this phenomenon is and talking about grounds for optimism, actually. I feel the need to stress the optimism in a crowd full of journalists because it seems to me sometimes that you all have internalized the lesson of if it bleeds, it leads, and bad news is really, really popular, more popular than good news. That's great, but the bad news headlines can distract us from what's actually going on, some very fundamental trends taking place in the world, really good trends, ones that should leave us optimistic. I think that our two most profound tasks are to improve the human condition and to tread more lightly on the planet. Let me show you some evidence about how well we're doing on both of these fronts. That red line there, that's the raw number of people living in dire poverty around the world. And you notice that even as population is going up, we are doing a better and better job of helping people escape the worst poverty. After decades of stagnation, it's no coincidence that as we are moving deeper into the computer era, we're lifting more and more people out of the worst kind of poverty. While we're doing that, in some really important ways, we are learning to take better care of the planet. This is a graph of how much we are consuming of some really fundamental building blocks of an economy, metal, fertilizer, chemicals, how much we're consuming year by year over the course of a century in America. You notice that U-turn right there at the end? We're finally using less of these materials year after year. It's not because we all decided to stop consuming. That's not what's going on. It's not that we all made a conscious choice to not use any more steel or not use any more copper. That's not what's going on. What's going on is we are, in the deepest way possible, we're learning to do more with literally less. There's no other way to accomplish that except with a lot of intelligence. I want to wind up by showing my two favorite pictures about what's going on in the world these days and how we're doing a better job of taking care of our planet. The first one compares what's been happening over the past century plus in my home state of Massachusetts. We're not tearing down the forests anymore. And the first time I saw this picture, I could not believe it was not photoshopped. But as the world is becoming more and more intelligent, we're actually seeing whales off the coast of New York City. I think that's a good note to end on. Thanks very much.
Well, thank you very much, Andy. And that really was a fascinating tour through the world of intelligence. As an outsider, really liked what I heard. And I'm very glad that these U-turn curves, cars were not included. So how does the progress in artificial intelligence link to cars? That's easy. The smarter cars get, the more support they can provide to us. Think about it. The human brain and intelligent car share a similar logic. Information from different sources is collected to understand the environment and context correctly. We all know that traffic can easily get very complex with a myriad of inputs from different directions. So there's a lot of information to digest for human as well as machine brains. Humans receive information through eyes, ears, and other senses. Cars primarily collect data through cameras, radars, and other sensors. The key difference is in how the human and the automotive brain process the information. For us, knowledge is always an interpretation of experience and perception. I'll give you an example. How does your brain know that the chair you're sitting on really is a chair? And how do you recognize a chair that looks like this or like that? The answer, we all agree from our life experience that all these really are chairs. With intelligent cars, the issue of interpretation is different. To this day, cars or machines in general don't have childhood memories or growing experience they can build on. And so far, they barely exchange knowledge with others. Cars simply don't discuss whether a chair is a chair. Coming back to the classroom example, computers are like those hard-working kids who can easily recite facts or information, but fail in coming up with their own creative solutions. If the computer in a car is trained to strictly obey the traffic rules, it will stay behind a parked car. And it might stay there forever. Unlike us, it will never lose its patience and bend the rules. Really intelligent cars, however, will have to know the rules and be able to arrive at their own decisions based on each individual situation. The car will have to advance from observing to fully understanding complex situations. So, what do we do about this? Mercedes is taking a step-by-step approach. Our long-term vision is to create fully street-smart, self-driving cars like our concept cars F015 and Vision Tokyo. Ultimately, we want Mercedes cars to become those cool kids who know how to come up with their own solutions. And you can be sure that Mercedes cars will always be a lot of fun to drive along the way too. The key to doing so are so-called deep learning computers. Pretty much like humans interpret an image, not pixel by pixel, those computers interpret areas of information as a whole. The idea is labeling certain concepts like streets, vehicles, pedestrians. You can see it in this video from our R&D department, highlighted in different colors. As a result, cars don't have to be trained on each and every detail. They're just like humans don't have to be trained on each and every possible form of a chair. With this technology, cars will, for instance, learn to recognize the typical concept of street life in Stuttgart. And they will be able to adapt that knowledge to a street in China, a street in Detroit, or anywhere else in the world. That's automotive intelligence. Over time, our cars will apply deep learning to interpret their entire surroundings and even learn to predict people's intentions by analyzing gestures, movements, or postures. Humans, however, do not just learn from their own experience, at least the smarter ones among us don't. We also learn from what others tell and share with us. Now imagine thousands of intelligent, connected cars out on the streets communicating and instantly sharing experiences on roadside information. That's when self-driving cars will really leave elementary school. And this is not science fiction anymore. The new E-Class is the very first series-built car that is equipped with car-to-X communication. This technology enables the E-Class to continuously talk to other cars and the infrastructure, and to keep learning. I can assure you, the new E-Class will be ahead of the game in all the advantages of machine intelligence that are available today. That's why we call it a masterpiece of intelligence. And we would not be very intelligent to have you wait any longer. It's time now to finally meet the new E-Class. My colleague, Thomas Weber, who is of course sitting in the front row, like back in school, is here now to walk you through all the smart details of this great car. Thomas.
Thank you, Dieter. And just for the record, I only sat in the first row at school because that's where all the pretty girls were. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this evening is about intelligence. People have created many ways to demonstrate a person's intelligence. However, there are no PhDs for cars yet. But we do have this. It's a license plate from the state of Nevada that allows us to test autonomous driving on public roads. We received this license for our all-new E-Class. That's now prototype. That's a serious production car. In most cases, people have to wait until they are 16 years of age to get a driver's license. Our new baby has won right from the start. Thanks. And I'm sure our future E-Class customers will enjoy its intelligence in many ways. Let's have a look at 3 of them. The first one is its ability to adapt. Just think about how you communicate with people. You talk, you write, you interact in many ways. There are also many options to communicate with our all-new E-Class, be it through voice control or our well-known command controller that offers an integrated touchpad, or with a completely new feature that we call touch control buttons. They are located in the steering wheel. These touch control buttons allow you to access every function of the instrument cluster and the infotainment system in the same intuitive way you use your smartphone. Our idea behind this: hands on the wheel, eyes on the road. I love this kind of small but very, very clever innovations. In addition, the information relevant to the driver appears right where you need it. And it is shown in a really brilliant way. The cockpit seems to consist of one giant, high-resolution flat screen. It really looks great. You can also adapt its look to your preferences with 3 different styles. Our customer will love it. And it is a great way to impress your teenage kids. Believe me. The next proof point for the intelligence of our new E-Class is its ability to anticipate events. As you know, for humans it is a complex process to recognize their environment. But it is amazing what our new intelligent drive package can already do today, to name just a few new features. The new E-Class takes the next big steps toward autonomous driving with our Advanced Drive Pilot package. At speeds up to 80 miles per hour, the car does not even need clearly visible lane markings to find its way. Our new system also uses information from maps or swarm behaviors. Plus, it can change lanes autonomously. So our Drive Pilot makes driving much more enjoyable. If that's not enough high-tech to impress your passengers, wait until you turn on the lights. The 84 LEDs in our new multi-beam headlamps illuminate the road in the most brilliant way you have ever experienced. From the driver's perspective, they turn night into day. And thanks to its intelligence, the car will not blind others. What's more, every time you unlock your E-Class, it will welcome you with a friendly wink of its blue eyes. Last but not least, intelligence is shown in the ability to be efficient. For the E-Class, that starts with its highly efficient powertrains. Take our new E350e with plug-in hybrid technology as an example. It combines the performance of a sports car with the fuel consumption of a compact car. And it allows for about 20 miles or 31 kilometers of purely electric driving. And in addition, our brand new four-cylinder diesel raises the bar once again when it comes to efficiency and emissions. The E220 diesel has a certified fuel consumption of 3.9 liters that equals 102 grams of CO2. We are convinced that our customer will like this powerful and really clean engine. Of course, efficiency is also supported by the body construction of the vehicle. The intelligent mix of materials reduces the car's weight by about 70 kilograms. Plus, we achieved an excellent drag coefficient of just 0.23. And thanks to its high-tech chassis in combination with a highly sophisticated suspension, we reach a completely new level of comfort and sportiness. Needless to say, our new E-Class will also raise the bar in terms of safety. Our latest innovation here is Pre-Safe Impulse Sight, which moves you away from the direct danger zone in case of a side impact. Summing up, ladies and gentlemen, we are convinced that our new E-Class, the most intelligent, most comfortable and sporty business sedan ever, providing, of course, the best safety standard in its segment. At the same time, it is just as beautiful as you would expect from Mercedes-Benz. At least that's our modest opinion. With that, please take a look and judge for yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, the new Mercedes-Benz E-Class.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how superior intelligence on the inside in a combination with a breathtaking outer appearance looks like for Mercedes. But I urge you to check out the new E-Class and see for yourselves. Thank you very much for joining us. Please be sure to visit us tomorrow morning at 9:35 at the Mercedes-Benz and Smart Press Conference at Cobo Hall as well. We have even more good news to share with you, along with more surprises. Please be our guest for a drink or two here tonight and have fun at the 2016 Detroit Auto Show. Thank you very much.